Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a case where a power-tripping police officer harassed and then arrested an innocent man out of retaliation for simply standing in public and minding his own business. On November 9th, 2020, Officer Reagan Kerfman of the Marion Police Department was out on patrol duty when he observed a vehicle driving down the wrong side of the street. In response to this, Officer Kerfman pursued the vehicle and initiated a traffic stop. The driver pulled into a gas station parking lot and subsequently came to a complete stop.
You guys are driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, I'm still learning the way here, man. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
You're from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you got an ID on you too, man?
This is my son.
It's your son? Has he got an ID?
No, he don't.
No? Okay, can I get his name?
Cameron Cook.
What is it?
Cameron Cook.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah, I was just asking him, like, why the hell look like we on a one-way? He was like, I think you're on the wrong side of the street.
You were on the wrong side of the road, man. You've been drinking it all tonight?
Got off work, man.
Just got off work?
7:30.
Where's work at?
Frontier Co-op in North Liberty.
Okay. All right. Do we have insurance on the vehicle?
Everything's good.
Okay.
It's dark over here, man. I don't know my way around like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know my way around.
Okay. All right. 206, can you just give me a second?
So far, the interaction between Officer Kerfman and the driver has been pretty normal, and nothing seems unusual. However, as both parties were dealing with the traffic stop, another subject, namely Casey Van Novella, was also at the gas station to grab a drink. As Mr. Casey was leaving the parking lot on foot, he noticed that an officer had pulled a vehicle over, so out of curiosity, he walked over to observe what was happening. But as Mr. Casey walked over to the scene, while keeping himself a safe distance away from Officer Kerfman, the situation immediately escalated, as you will now see.
So where are you staying at?
We stay on 4th and 3rd.
Here in Marion? Hey man, what's your deal? Hey, I'm talking to you. Get away from my traffic stop. 206, can you step it up? I got a guy coming up on my traffic stop and he's not leaving. Get back in your car or you're going to get a charge of interference.
My dad don't even tell me what to do. You think you're going to tell me?
Get in your car or you're going to be arrested for interference.
You arrest me then, moron. I'd like to see you do it. Tell the judge what you're offense.
206, copy of 28. George Zebra 693. Here's my backup.
Look at this guy. Now what you do, you're trying
10-4.
to stop other people. Stop other people.
Hey, we don't know dude either.
Do you know this guy at all?
No, we don't know dude.
Okay. All right. You guys just sit tight.
As seen in the footage, Officer Kerfman noticed Mr. Casey standing nearby and immediately ordered him to get inside his vehicle and also threatened him with arrest, stating that he would be charged with interference if he didn't comply. Keep in mind that Mr. Casey had done absolutely nothing. He didn't initially speak, he didn't try to get too close, and he didn't even record, even though he was well within his right to do so. First and foremost, we need to understand whether Mr. Casey had the right to stand there, considering he was in a gas station. Note that gas stations are generally classified as private property. However, they are open to the public for the purpose of conducting business. As such, they are often considered public spaces for purposes of the law, similar to a sidewalk or park. Additionally, the rights of individuals to gather and speak freely in such places are protected under the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which states that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Judging by these factors, we can safely conclude that Mr. Casey was well within his right to stay where he was standing, since he was not obstructing anyone, and certainly not causing a problem. This ties in with Iowa Code, Section 716.7, which highlights that a person commits a criminal trespass if they remain on someone else's property after they've been asked to leave. So if Mr. Casey wasn't causing any disturbance, or hadn't been asked to leave by the property owner, he would likely be within his rights to stand there. But despite this, it seemed like Officer Kerfman's ego was hurt when Mr. Casey refused to blindly comply with his orders, and instead showed him the finger. Watch as he completely neglected the traffic stop investigation, and harassed Mr. Casey instead.
What's your name, man?
I'm not telling you, bro. I don't even need to talk to you. You shouldn't even be talking to me. You're doing your job.
You don't come up on my traffic stop. That's interference.
Leave me alone. You won't leave me alone! Do your job, bro. Is your camera on? You ain't got a fucking face mask on. It's protocol. It's in your policy. Even the chief of police wears his mask. Where the fuck's yours at? Where is it? Moron? I wish you'd do your traffic stop. Hey! This traffic stop's supposed to take no longer than 5 minutes, so this being an idiot with me. Come on, dude. You are wasting taxpayers' dollars by pulling him over and with me. I'm a taxpayer. I am tired of paying you to with me. Get the away from me. You are literally wasting time. What the fuck are you doing right now? Please explain to me. What are you doing?
You should have thought about that before you pulled up on my traffic stop, man.
Bruh, you don't know the law. I can be within 10 feet of any traffic stop in the entire world. He could have been murdered. I could stand right
No, you
up
can't.
in here. You're a retard. Look it up. You are a retard. Get the fuck away from me. Call the cops. I got a cop with me.
By this point, keep in mind that Mr. Casey has yet to commit a single crime, but Officer Kerfman continued to stick around and waited for an opportunity to arrest him. These actions simply prove that Officer Kerfman was now retaliating against Mr. Casey, and the middle finger likely played a part in this. We can refer back to the First Amendment, since the U.S. Supreme Court has repeatedly held that it protects a wide range of expressive conduct, including offensive gestures and language. In the 1971 case of Cohen v. California, the court ruled that one man's vulgarity is another's lyric, suggesting that offensive gestures and language are protected speech. More directly related to Mr. Casey's situation is the case of Swartz v. Sonia, a 2013 decision by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. In this case, a man was arrested after he gave a police officer the middle finger. The court ruled that such a gesture alone cannot constitute probable cause for an arrest, stating that such a gesture is not illegal and cannot be the basis of a reasonable suspicion of a traffic violation or impending criminal activity. Therefore, while showing the middle finger is generally considered rude and disrespectful, it is not in itself a crime, and cannot be the basis for arrest or retaliation by a law enforcement officer. Now, let's see what happened as soon as the second unit arrived at the scene to provide backup to Officer Kerfman.
Get out of your car, man.
No.
You're under arrest.
Hey!
You're under arrest.
Hey! Hey, record this. Hey! Hey! Come get with me. Hey! Bring it back. Stop. What the f***?
You're good.
Stay in your car. Oh my God.
Stay in your car.
Stay in your car. You're getting a lawsuit.
Here, put it.
Which
stick
car?
them back in your car for, or we can put
Which
stick in
car?
front of mine.
Hope your cameras are on. Yeah. All right, good. Do you even know what you're arresting me for?
Interference.
Let's hear it. Let's hear you say it on your camera.
Yeah, no charges, but
You're being arrested for interference. I gave you several chances to walk away from my traffic stopping. You didn't.
Interference is nothing. Jesus Christ.
As ridiculous as it sounds, Mr. Casey was now placed under arrest for interference. According to Iowa Code 719.1, it stated that a person commits interference with official acts when the person knowingly resists or obstructs anyone known by the person to be a peace officer, whether paid or volunteer, in the performance of any act which is within the scope of the lawful duty or authority of that officer. Judging by this law, it's not tough to dispel Officer Kerfman's false allegations against Mr. Casey, since we know that he certainly did not resist or obstruct anyone. He simply stood at a safe distance and initially didn't even say a word before Officer Kerfman started to give unlawful orders, to which Mr. Casey expressed his dissatisfaction through a gesture protected by the First Amendment, as discussed earlier. Officer Kerfman was clearly on a power trip just because a man who knew his rights refused to comply with them. What's worse is that his disdain toward Mr. Casey became even clearer after this, as you will see.
Don't you live over on Henderson House? I think I've dealt with you before.
Yes, I live over there. I only came here to
That's right.
get some food, and now all of a sudden it's gonna go bad in my car.
So what kind of drugs you got in the car, man?
Bro, you're a fucking moron.
What kind of drugs you got in there?
You need these guys for anything else?
I'm trying to... So he's got a Wisconsin license. It's saying it says it's an ID card only.
Yep.
But this
It's
is...
valid.
It is saying valid?
Yep. That's valid.
Excellent. Hey dude, I lied to you.
What?
Like your license actually is coming back valid. There was just a mix-up with the state.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say like everything.
Yeah. So initially it was saying it was just an ID card, but I was looking further and it did say it was valid. So I apologize for that, sir.
Yep. You got his stuff back there?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab you guys' information real quick.
Okay.
If you could just be,
No,
would you be comfortable being witnesses to what you just saw
Yeah,
there?
that was crazy. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got my kid with
Well,
me.
at first I thought that he was with you guys or something, just waiting. I was like, you know, that happens every now and then. I
No, I
was
see.
like, that's fine. You wait for your friend. Just get back
Yeah,
in your
no,
car.
I see.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, guys.
No problem.
That was weird.
That was weird.
I was like,
you
what
know,
the hell's going on?
At these times right now, I'm like, oh, you need to back up. I'm telling him like, oh, I hope they don't shoot this guy because he was weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was.
That was weird,
Well,
man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being
All right,
cooperative.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You have a good night, guys.
He, 3 days ago, whenever my Friday was, he's literally rolls down his window, is flicking me off. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well,
That's him.
I've actually dealt with him before. He lives over in Henderson House. I know that.
Okay. Is this plate come back to him?
I called it out on the radio, but I haven't had a chance to
Alright. Yeah.
to figure out what the deal
he's
is.
He's a dandy.
What's your name?
Not Tony.
Okay, we're gonna go down to Lynn County Jail then, if that's how it's gonna be.
You're already going to. Literally, I'm not telling you anything just to incriminate myself. If I told you my name and everything, you wouldn't let me go. I'm not stupid.
Okay, fair enough. He doesn't want to tell me his name. Did we?
We found out who he is. I already logged him.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we already logged his information. His wallet is in the center console.
Okay.
So I don't have to worry about that.
And then he just comes pulling up. He jumps out of his car, comes running up to the car. Hey man, what's your deal?
Did I really run up to the car, Reagan, or are you just lying?
And at first I'm thinking like, okay, he's with these guys, you know, so I tell him back the fuck.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and just like pulling, you know, flipping me off. And I keep telling him, I was like, you get back. Like, if you don't get back right now, you're going to be arrested for interference. I told him that several times. And he just continued. So I was like, okay. And then he started going and digging around in his car, and I'm waiting for you guys to come back up. So I'm just like, I'm standing in between here because I don't know these guys are cool yet.
Yeah.
Because his son was acting all fishy. So I was just standing in between, trying to watch this car, watching this dig around in his car. And I was just standing here with my hand on my gun, and I was just like, come on guys, get here, because this I do not like this. And then
I hope your body camera's on. Any questions for us at this time? We told you why. Because you're getting arrested for interference.
Interference for watching the cop do his job.
For not listening to a cop while he's on a traffic stop.
Dude.
It has nothing to do with you. I don't even know why you did what you did. It doesn't make any sense.
Because it's called auditing, you guys. Because you guys fuck with people.
Auditing?
Do you know what an audit is? Do you know
Explain to me what it is. Yep. This is what auditing.
Watching someone do their job while they're doing their job.
You can do that.
Hey, this is Officer Kirkman, Marion Police Department. I got a guy here. He's under arrest for interference right now. He's being extremely uncooperative. He hasn't provided his name to me yet.
Invoking your Fifth Amendment and not giving your name is being extremely uncooperative to the Marion Police Department.
I think we might have gotten him identified potentially, but he's not going to give me his name, and he's being extremely uncooperative. So I was checking if we could bring him down there.
Yeah, that's fine. You bring him down here. We'll print him ID him, and then if he decides to cooperate later on, we'll PTA him ourselves.
Perfect. Well, I'll be down soon.
Your car for legal odor.
Bye.
We didn't find anything.
They're going to take him.
With that being
As we've just seen, Officer Kerfman first tried to accuse Mr. Casey of having drugs in his vehicle. This was obviously an act of retaliation. Then, he lied to his fellow officers and claimed that Mr. Casey ran up to him while he was conducting the traffic stop. To make things even worse, the officers on the scene went as far as to mock Mr. Casey just because he stood up for his rights. But the tyranny really comes under the spotlight when you realize that Officer Kerfman let the detained driver go with a warning, even though he had actually committed a crime, while Mr. Casey, who had done nothing wrong, was arrested. Lastly, Mr. Casey still refused to provide the officers with any sort of identification. Let's discuss whether this was a rightful action. According to the Fifth Amendment, individuals have the right to remain silent and cannot be compelled to provide self-incriminating information. In the given scenario, Mr. Casey's refusal to provide identification can be seen as an exercise of this right, since he did not commit a crime and was not under suspicion of any criminal activity either. There was no legal basis or requirement for him to provide identification to the officers. Either way, Mr. Casey was searched and then transported to jail, but the tyranny didn't stop even there.
if there's anything that you have hidden on your person, turn it into a felony, make it down to the jail floor. So I'll give you an opportunity to tell us now.
I have not searched him yet.
Why don't we pull him out and search him quick?
I gotta pull him out. I'll get out myself.
Step it out.
No problem. Search, man.
He's going to
Goddamn.
Got any knives, needles, drugs, anything on you?
One basketball shorts.
What's in your pockets?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think nothing.
Right.
Besides
Face that
keys.
way.
Seriously, don't think I do. Cigarette. That's right.
Anything in your mouth, man?
No.
Can you open it up so your tongue for me? Stick your tongue all the way.
I've never had to do it.
When's the last time you think you smoked weed? It doesn't matter because I can't charge you anything if you don't have anything on you, but you don't remember? That's a side effect of weed sometimes. Forgetfulness.
Alright, go ahead and have a seat back in there, man.
Can I at least have my keys?
Yeah, they're going with you.
Oh, okay.
These are house keys or what?
They're keys.
Okay.
Oh.
Alright, just sit back for me. I'm gonna get you buckled in.
Oh.
Yeah, there's keys in the car, so.
Literally never been arrested. So
Is that your car then?
I'm not supposed to answer any questions.
Comes back to some construction company.
Well, whoever's car it is gonna get towed, so. You don't know your own social security number?
No, I just have a car.
Alright, well you're gonna go sit down in the jail until we can figure out who you are.
Jesus. Literally took the car, towing the car, and all that, and now you're still messing with me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
You should have thought about that before you pulled up on a traffic stop. And when I ordered you
I know,
to get away from the traffic stop,
For anybody to do anything, you're a cop. You're supposed to protect people, not
Eric,
them to harass them.
you're gonna wind up in jail a lot more often with that attitude.
You want to answer questions about COVID-19? Okay, can you just tell me your name?
I really would if I felt like I trusted you guys, but man, I do not.
Well, we're going to have to figure it out one way or the other.
Maybe the trust the arresting officer, so shouldn't he know my name?
Well, you said you're not going to identify yourself.
Then what do you arrest me as? Good citizen?
John Doe.
John Doe.
We're not going to book you in as that.
It's not my responsibility.
I mean, you're just not going to see the judge until you spell your name. So.
Alright. Even though I'm sure that's a lie.
He gave me he was like the right to remain silent, so I didn't know if he was going to answer the COVID
Cool.
questions.
Take it as a
I'll
no.
answer her stuff, just not about what's going on here, because this is such fuckery what's going on. I don't know why I'm being arrested. I've never been arrested in my life.
You know what's is you forgetting your name. So you know what's going to happen? We're going to fingerprint you anyway. We're going to send you prints and we're going to find out that way. If it doesn't come back as anybody, you're going to stay here until you give us your fucking name. So I don't really care what you think is or not. Shut up.
What are you doing right now?
You want to go along with the program? The only reason you came down here is because you wouldn't give your name. You could have been walking around the street right now if you'd given your name. So you're an idiot. I'll give you my name.
The one who just yelled at Mr. Casey was Officer Hoskins, and he clearly didn't like the fact that Mr. Casey was protecting his constitutional rights from being violated over a false charge that stemmed from pure retaliation. What's unbelievable is that we've yet to come across a level-headed law enforcement officer throughout this encounter. Now, watch as Officer Kerfman yet again lied about what happened and why Mr. Casey was arrested. He essentially told one of the jailers that they should keep Mr. Casey in custody for the night.
Even though I thought the arresting officer would have this. I'll give it to you. I just don't trust him.
Alright, stand up facing the mat for me. Anything in your pocket, Phil?
What was the circumstances? Like if I PT him, is that going to be okay with you now at this point if his prints come back as him? Or do you want him to stay here tonight?
Since we're already here, I'd prefer if we could keep him here.
Okay.
Yeah. The reason he got arrested because it was in a traffic stop, and he rolled up and jumped out of his car and ran up on the traffic stop and wouldn't leave. It was just being a
choice.
So I told him to back the fuck. The two people I was dealing with at the time were pretty sketchy too, so I had to back away, and I was keeping an eye on him, and he kept going into his car and digging around, so I had my backup coming, and I was just standing there just watching him.
Yeah. Think so, yeah.
Yep, interference.
I'm so confused.
Well, if that's what you were doing, man, that was not what you were doing.
They're watching you, and then you get all butthurt and come start messing with me. You should have finished your job conducting whatever you're doing with that traffic stop. Why'd you come over and mess with me just because I was watching you, auditing you, do your job correctly? And then you go way off topic and come and start messing with me just because I'm watching you do your job from 15 feet away. So I'm so confused while I'm sitting here. When you couldn't just finish your traffic stop with that guy and leave me alone. I did nothing wrong. I'm a citizen just watching you do your job. Why'd you come over there?
If only that were the case, man.
What?
If only that's what happened.
Ultimately, Mr. Casey was identified and booked for interference with official acts. But as expected, Mr. Casey fought these bogus charges by taking it to trial. And on March 2, 2021, over 3 months after the arrest, the Iowa District Court found him not guilty of the offense. The case was since dismissed. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we cover another outrageous police encounter